Comments for the week ending October 23rd from the beef farmers of Ontario. There were 544 head of fed steers and heifers sold through auction markets last week, up 251 head from the previous week. Fed steers averaged 308.93 per hundredweight, down 463 per hundred, and fed heifers averaged 310.19 per hundredweight, down 252 per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported that fed steers and heifers sold in Ontario. Dress sales were reported at $5.30 per hundredweight delivered, $10 per hundredweight higher than the previous week. For the week ending October 11th, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports to the U.S. were 3,158 head, 13% above last year and 37% above the 5-year average. Year-to-date, Eastern fed cattle and cow exports were 1% lower than last year. Cull cow receipts sold through auction markets last week were 2,509 head, up 915 head from the previous week. Cows averaged 180.59 per hundredweight, down 206 per hundred. Beef cows averaged 195.08 per hundredweight, up 43 cents per hundred from the previous week's trade. Auction markets reported that fed cows sold steady. Total receipts were 12,106 head last week. Receipts of 6,961 stocker and feeder cattle sold through Ontario auction markets, down 113 head from the previous week. Auction markets reported on Friday, October 17th, that calves sold steady. Yearlings sold fully steady, with grass types bringing a premium. Day stockers sold fully steady to stronger. The Quebec electronic market last week sold at $5.13 per hundredweight dressed on a picked-up basis. Last week, Alberta fed steer and heifer prices averaged $302.09 per hundredweight and $299.94 per hundredweight, respectively. Western Canadian and U.S. fed prices have been moving in opposite directions as of late. Dress sales were reported from $5.05 to $5.08 per hundredweight delivered. Competition on the cash market was limited. For the third week in a row, one major was not bidding on the cash market. Cattle that traded last week were being scheduled for delivery anywhere from mid-November to early December delivery. U.S. packer interest was supportive and light volumes of Western Canadian cattle were marketed south. These cattle will be priced off the 5-area average. By Wednesday, October 22nd, light trade developed with dress sales reported from $500 to $5.05 per hundredweight delivered, $2 to $5 per hundredweight lower than the previous week. For the week ending October 18th, Western Canadian fed processing was 34,103 head, 8.9% lower than last year. The U.S. cash cattle trade last week saw dress sales in Iowa and Nebraska from $368 to $372 per hundredweight, $2 per hundredweight lower than the previous week. Live sales in the north were from $238 to $240 per hundredweight, while sales in Texas and Kansas were at $238 per hundredweight, $2 per hundred softer. On Friday, live and feeder cattle contracts closed limit down, so today limits have been expanded and the cattle complex is trading lower. Feeder cattle are trading over $13 per hundredweight lower today. A lot of this has stemmed from the U.S. government's plan to lower beef prices. A lot of the sell-off is speculation related to the possible reopening of the U.S.-Mexico border to Mexican feeder cattle. This is a classic case of buy the rumor and sell the facts. This is Jamie Kerr with the Beef Farmers of Ontario's Market Information Report.